Hey Insiders, we've got a very special guest joining us here today who has recently just graduated from our flagship course LMA, which is the Life Mastery Achievers. And he's so graciously going to be coming on here today to share his experience from start to finish and everything else in between. And I guess just before we dive in, would you mind telling everybody what's your name and where you're currently based in the world?
Yeah, my name is Wasim Hanif, based in London. I live in West Hampstead, which is a nice area. And yeah, I've grown up here,
Nice.
spent a lot of time here. Learned from a young child, growing up to mature man, the ins and outs of life around here. So it's a great area to be in. Great area to be in.
Awesome. Well, Wasim, thanks so much for giving us your time here today to have a little chat, to talk about LMA. And I kind of just want to bring it back to the beginning before we get started. And I'm just curious to know what was some of the biggest struggles or challenges that you were facing in your life before joining LMA?
Well, so this one is going to be a story with, how can I put it, with highs and lows.
Mm.
Um, Before I started LMA, in general, I'm a successful, confident individual. Always been a helper, always help people in need. Um, Always pushed the boundaries of fitness and improvement. And before I started LMA, I was in a place where, from being successful, wealthy, happy, and joyous, I was in a place that I never thought I could ever be. Um, One, going through a breakup, having two children that I dearly love, custody battle which is ongoing, and I was literally driving my vehicle, and Tim Han, something came up on YouTube, and he was talking and explaining things if you want to improve yourself. Um, and I literally sat in the car and I said, God, like, make it easy for me to meet this person or to get onto a course that he was saying.
Mm.
And where I was successful and I've had a custody battle going on, I was my wealth, everything was day by day.
Mm.
And I'm literally prayed. And then I was laying in bed and I was like, my mindset was going in a loop through the
Wow.
trauma that I'd been through.
Yeah.
And I literally prayed that night. And I always talk about faith because you've got the internet, you got Wi-Fi, we connect to certain services. It's the same with a prayer.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, God, I need help. I need help. I need to change my mindset. I need to improve because what had happened to me was was so harsh that I couldn't understand why my mind was going into repeat.
Mm.
Literally that morning, a message pops up on my phone like it's never happened on YouTube with running courses. I was like, literally, I prayed 2 hours before in desperation
Wow.
and a ping went off. So when that ping came through, I just said, look, this must be the call. So I registered, and then all of a sudden, I didn't have the money to do the course. So I've had so much money. I got cars, I got this and that, but I'm in a spot now. How do I get onto this course? And then reaching out to LMA, you guys made it really, really easy. And then literally between the course, a beloved father of mine that was supporting me we found out he had cancer.
Wow.
Do you understand? And then that was another part of the story that I couldn't really understand how to deal with, you
Wow.
know?
Wow. Wow. So
So
a lot of challenges along your way before even coming across LMA then. And I mean, you're still
yeah,
obviously we've made it right through and stuff. But for you, was there any concerns or was there any doubts that you had before coming on board? Or were you committed to run with this course, or was there that self-sabotage
well,
kicking in or that little voice trying to stop you?
what it was because of other people, I'd say, out of LMA being attacked from your character. And when Tim Han was speaking, it's the first time, like, so I'm involved in finance previously in banking. And when he was talking, so you always have factors, small factors to make a bigger picture. If in finance you look at, it's just a calculation. A calculation will add up to another calculation for the result. And
Mm.
if there's any negative variance, we report it. If there's a positive variance, we explain that too.
Mm.
And when he was speaking, it was this, sometimes you get that feeling that I need this help. And
Mm.
then if you've got money to invest, like what I find out now, you reinvest in yourself. But majority of the time, we're paying bills, we're paying to people, make people happy. You never really invest in yourself. But me being into training and boxing, I always look to improve myself, you
Nice,
know?
nice.
And when I started the course, it's the way the course was structured and it's going to the core of you.
Mm,
So one thing when Tim Han, if he does get to see this, I want him to make him understand that his voice and his hard work, as well as you guys, you're touching so many people's lives because they haven't had the sense of direction through a partner, through people. And it's just directly, it's like I call it destiny, an element where your body, your mind sort of reach out and it will connect. You
mm,
know what I mean? If you look at the bigger grand scheme. So there was, like he was saying, if you don't reinvest in yourself, I just thought to myself, you're going to spend money on other things. And I'm very grateful to God that I really got to do the course, you know. And it was a struggle because
yeah,
there's times I was on it, the times I wasn't. And something so deep was that when my father was sick and he wasn't going to make it, and the doctor said he wasn't going to make it, and I couldn't tell my father this. He kept saying, I'm going to make it, my son, be stronger, bounce back how
mm,
I want you to.
mm,
And in this sense, I was telling one of the colleagues is that there's a theme tune that you guys use from Gladiator.
mm.
And I watched that movie with my father, and we would speak about because he used to love watching me train.
Wow.
But when I heard that tune and we that bit where he departs in the movie that he's going to another place, I knew my father was going to leave this world.
Wow.
It was so deep how whenever that song comes on now, and when that tune came on into the course, my light bulbs went off and said, "Listen, your father's not going to be here for long." And in between of the struggles of taking my father back and forth, I was still doing the course and he couldn't communicate with me. It's a bit deep, but he would shake my hand. And I
Oh,
gave him a kiss and I told him, Dad, I'm going to bounce back exactly. I'm going to do everything you told me to do, and gave him a kiss.
wow.
And the day before he died, that same song I was listening to, or that tune, and it was just so deep and so many levels, you know. But it
Wow.
was my call for me and my father to, you know what? You're gonna get through whatever you're doing and you're gonna complete this course. And the next day we buried him. I came straight back onto LMA because I
Wow.
promised him, and that's how deep it was going in, you know.
Kudos to you, man, and congratulations for pushing through and honoring not just yourself, but also your father too as well. It's amazing for sure.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
but with that being said, like going through the course, let's say, what would you say surprised you the most or made you the most happiest about the experience that you'd gone through with LMA? Why did it resonate so much with yourself?
Well, it's the psychological part of working on yourself, looking on the trauma, and working on an individual basis along with everybody is what connected to me was that there's so many things that we've gone on this journey through life,
Mm,
greatness, being a leader.
mm,
We've gone along a path,
mm,
if it's through somebody or something
mm,
that necessarily shouldn't be put onto us.
mhm,
And where I found it was just stripping down the the core of who you are and where you want to be. And I
mm,
needed that.
mm.
I really needed to look into myself and say, hey, look, something hasn't gone on right here.
Right.
Put my hands up to wherever I've done wrong in life.
Mhm,
But actually, was my intention to ever be in this scenario? No. So
mhm.
it stripped down and to the core belief to reprogram. I call it reprogramming
Yeah.
and getting your mindset ready to actually making you recognize who you truly are.
Nice. Nice. And with the version of yourself that you explained to me there a moment ago that you were before LMA to the guy that you are sat here today, specifically
Yeah.
what you say is the biggest benefit or the biggest shift that you've noticed within yourself. How are you different now compared to the beginning of this course to the person that you are now?
Listen, I woke up every 20 minutes in pain. In pain. My body was in pain. My mindset was in a loop. I, going back to what I said, financially lost my wealth. I was sick. Um, I was in a place that by only God's will that I got to where I am now. Meaning that I've never been in a situation like that. And I was in survival mode. I was in so many modes that I didn't even realize that the brain was making me go into. And even with the last course, even when I was on LMA, I done up to week 5. Then when I logged out for some reason, all my work had been lost. So I went back onto it. And then the final lesson, everything, it's like the penny dropped.
Mm,
Everything just clicked.
mm,
And I was like, so saying like dealing with toxic people, cut them off. And I was like, you can never change a toxic person. You need
mm,
to change yourself. You got to learn to let go. And where I felt like in the last few days, I felt like a burden be lifted off my shoulder. I know who I am. I know what I want. There's a beautiful world out there to see.
wow.
And being the real me, that
Yeah,
I can shake somebody's hand and say, come on, I'm up to here, uplift yourself, be strong, be grateful for what you got. And it just brought the real essence of who I truly am again.
stunning. Brilliant. Love to hear it. And for you personally now as well, like if I were to ask you right here, right now, what advice would you give to someone other than just go for it? Like what advice would you truly give to someone who's thinking about joining LMA? They're maybe sitting on the fence, they want to change their lives, they're calling out looking for help, but they're just thinking about it, they're dabbling. What advice would you give
Yeah,
to people?
I would say, look, financially, I wasn't even in a position. I got help from you guys in a sense where we're so willing to help. I'm going to put this in a way, okay, if you're a leader and you're great, you're loving, caring, and you want to make a difference in the world, that's you. If you need the tools to go inside and look within from the trauma you've been through, from past experiences or advice that was given to you that didn't serve you, this is the course to do. And the reason why this is the course to do is because, like Tim Han and you guys, you lot are doing a deed, a
Mm,
merit good that financially will help you in the future, but a merit good that make you an ambassador of yourself. And if you want to be that as a man or a woman, this is the place to be because it actually goes back into where your thought processes go, where your emotions go. And if you want personal growth, there's nothing better on working on yourself and looking in the mirror and say, listen, where has the journey brought me because of A, B, and C, or this person or myself?
mm,
And actually, let's realign from the child that you was, the
mm,
ambitions that you had,
mm,
and you could go for it and be that person. And when it comes to money, and when was the last time that there was a course available
mm,
for you to spend a bit of money and reinvest in yourself,
mm, mm.
you know?
Beautiful.
And no doubts in the course. The process is the process. And I would rush anybody to make them go and do it because you could always self-improve. And that's what I find with the course.
Fab. Just last but not least here, just to wrap up here today, for people that don't maybe know who Tim is or they're just discovering his videos, how would you summarize Tim as a teacher, trainer, facilitator from your own experience and knowledge right now?
What I get from Tim, he's been in a place where we all been. Like he was talking about growing up, not fitting in, if there was racism, if there was other aspects to it. And for someone to challenge themselves to be better and to reach out, I would say there's nothing more better that someone that can relate to you. And the
Mm,
way he was laughing, sometimes he may say something, and even if you got it wrong, he'll laugh about it and correct it. A relatable person.
mm,
And I could see the passion in that gentleman's eyes and the way he was talking. And he's like, I've been around top athletes, top professionals. I could shake Tim's hand and say to him, and as well as yours, as well as everybody, and say, guys, you know what? I really appreciate everything that you're doing. And it's the same with me. It will continue forward, you
awesome.
know. And you don't get people to mirror who you want to be to assist you with it.
Yeah,
And I think that's the key. That's the key.
beautiful. Beautiful. Well, listen, just gonna